So for our little handsome man, Mr. H, he did have to run out for a little potty. So we're going to see if we can do a little bit with some play. So I know we were discussing a little bit with that luring and capturing and shaping. So I might see if I can get Mr. Handsome's attention. Ready? What's this, handsome guy? So with your puppies, you're going to create behavior in 3 different methods. He's just off finding little crumbs that were left behind. So with, again, luring, like I mentioned earlier, view it like the worm on the hook, and you're luring your puppy to grab a bite and to do the behavior because of that luring. The other option too is with luring though, is you want to make sure that you're fading out the lure as quickly as you can. So what I mean by that is if let's say the sitting behavior was with food in your hand and you lure the puppy into a sit, we want to empty the hand, get them to verbally hear the sit and the visual cue, and then feed right after. Ready, handsome? So if let's say we were working a little bit with the luring, the food in the beginning helps create the behavior. Later, the food would be the reinforcement for the skill. So I'm just going to see if I can get Mr. Handsome to do a little bit of play. So remember, play is also a great way to reinforce but also nurture behavior. So I love play because it's a great way to, again, expend some extra energy, but then use it as a reinforcement for later down the road as well. So you can see Mr. Handsome's really loving grabbing the toy and playing a little tug. Remember, tug is a wonderful way to engage with your puppy and practice some play. I would recommend that as they're playing, you get them to practice grabbing and then letting go. So it's really fun to get the game going. He says, my little lady friend is also singing her song for a second. He's like, what is she talking about? So I like to have them disengage by doing a little find it, like I mentioned earlier with Mr. R. Then we might go, are you ready? And then go and take the toy. The toy comes alive and we go and catch that bad boy. So as Mr. H is going and grabbing the toy comes alive. He says, oh, my neighbor's singing. And then from there, after it becomes alive, we keep playing, we're wrestling. And then this is a great way to allow your puppy to have natural puppy outlets, which we've discussed a little bit about dog-centric play. Remember, puppies are a bit of land sharks. So the reason I like to have a longer toy is this allows for my handsome guy to play, but not have my fingers or my hands near the bitey part for while he's learning. So the toy is alive, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say, ready, Harley, and then feed him for that little let go. If he goes back to it, don't worry. The toy will just go limp. And then what I like to do is, again, those little find it. So I go, ready, Harley, find it. And I get him to let go, have it be beneficial to let go, and then start again. So Harley, ready? Go get it. So I like to, oh, he says, I caught it big time this time. So let's say he catches the critter. He's doing a really nice job. Oh my goodness, what a good catch, sir. We're going to go ahead and see if I can lure him again into a little drop it by releasing the item and doing a find it. You guys will want to create a word that you prefer. So drop it, out, or give. So that way, as Mr. H is sometimes practicing grabbing the critter or whatever it might be, remember that drop it and outs, or whatever your slogan's going to be, can become negative. So I know I mentioned a little bit earlier where, for example, if you're constantly saying drop it and then we take the item away, it means that a drop it means it's going to be taken again. So a lot of times as we're saying drop it, the puppy says, well, that seems silly. You always take everything from me. And then from there, the puppy starts to be like, you know what? I don't think I want to exchange or give out the item. And then they might instead start gulping or doing a little bit of what's called resource guarding, where your puppy has a hard time potentially giving up or releasing an item. So we want to practice with things he's allowed to have and make sure he's working on relinquishing the item and not feeling it's threatening or spooky or that we coming over are the end of fun. So you'll see that as I ask him to sometimes do a little drop or, again, a little find it, nice, is the toy doesn't go away. So the toy is still here, we're still playing, but letting go has given him a bonus bit for releasing the item. So the toy is wiggling and alive. Nice job, sir. And it's kind of frolicking. And then from there, we might go, ready? Yes. And sometimes I even like to do a little kissy noise just to get that focus. Sometimes that can just be a great positive interrupter from many different things. So let's say your puppy's a bit distracted, they're having a hard time with an item. You could do that little kissy noise, and all of a sudden they drop whatever they have to come check in. So because a lot of times the kissy noise equals come in for a paycheck, which can be really nice for that re-engagement to you versus the item. So ready? Go get it. So the toy comes alive. He's like, lady, there are crumbs on the floor that smell amazing. So right now, the reason we're doing a little bit of expending of energy is sometimes your puppies are a little bit more responsive to basic little skills when some of their puppy needs have been met first. We do want to, because he is so little, keep it easy going and soft. So it's not too crazy of play. Because remember, sometimes when we're trying to expend some energy, we may by accident get the puppy so tired or so overstimulated that then they start to mouth us heavily. So Harley, he's like, hold on, lady, there's so many good smells. I might go a little closer. So let's say I lose him off in the distance over here where there's a couple more smells. Harley. Yes, good boy. So I go ahead and feed for that first little bounce back, and then I might get his attention back on the toy. So remember, for reinforcements, you might use food, you might use praise and touch, but you also want to use things that your puppy deems exciting or reinforcing. So I know I mentioned that with Mr. R, is make sure that whatever you're using as a reinforcement situation, oh, he's noticed my little one, is that it has to be reinforcing for the puppy and not necessarily reinforcing from our perspective. So Ebba says she needs to use the restroom real quick, so we'll take a little breather from Mr. Handsome and we'll come back to him and work some more skills.